What does manifest mean? It means to make something come into existence that wasn't there before. And by the way, how many of you are trying to manifest more results, more money, more real estate, more success, more love, right? More. So let's talk about how you do that. There's a formula. You're going to want to write this down. There are 4 parts of creating this certainty in your life. How many parts? 4. The first part is, if you want something and you don't have it, you are predispositioned to believe it's not possible. So listen very carefully. You want something, but you don't have it. You are predispositioned to believe it's not possible. So the first thing you have to correct is what? It's possible. Everyone try it. It's possible. Right now, for example, what's the thing that you want that you don't have yet that you've learned from this event? What are you creating? How many of you want to double your income this year? I like the idea of doubling income, right? Why? Because I want to get ahead faster. By the way, when I say double your income, some of you are like, yeah. And some of you are like, yeah. Starts with this. It's possible. Just like breaking a board. I break boards. Now, once you believe it's possible, you need to believe that you have the creator within, the ability to create. So you say, I create it. What is it? You also have to believe it's worth it, especially when it gets hard. Because when it gets challenging, you know what most people do? They check out and they quit. So you got to believe it's worth it. And lastly, then you have to do whatever it takes. Carson has done a really good job, by the way, talking to you about how to set goals. And he's shared with you our bulletproof approach. I assure you it works very, very well. By the way, can we give Carson a huge round of applause? So, it's possible. I create it. It's worth it. And I do whatever it takes. Let me give you some examples from modern day that you are familiar with. Who is this? The Queen of Harry Potter. Did you know that impoverished, divorced, all she had was a manuscript? And she submitted it to more than 10 different book publishers. And you know what all of them said? Nope. And guess what they missed out on? First billionaire author. How crazy is that? How amazing is that? How committed would you have to be to face all of that and stick with that? How many of you admire that? See if you can admire this one. Walt Disney, he says, I dreamed up this little cartoon mouse and I want to make a little cartoon. I need some money. How many banks would you get turned down by for your dream to come true before you give up? 302 banks before he got financing and eventually would dream up Disney World. Now parks that are all over the world and have established a new standard in entertainment. That's amazing. You know, Walt was not there to see Disney World open. And I remember that, read this story about a newspaper editor that was interviewing at the grand opening his brother, saying, wow, how bad do you think Walt feels that he's not here to see this? You know what his brother said? What makes you think he didn't? We're here today because of this man's vision, is what he told the reporter. How many of you have ever eaten at Kentucky Fried Chicken? They have a mission and a purpose to make y'all fat. But I want to tell you how they came about. The original Colonel Sanders worked for a company, retired 67 years old, got his first Social Security check, and you know what he said? Heck no, there's no way I'm going to be able to live off of that. And in his white suit, He decided that the only thing he had to offer the world was his mama's favorite recipe on making chicken. So he went from restaurant to restaurant to restaurant and said, use my recipe, give me a piece of the action. Do you know how many times over 2 years that man got turned down from restaurants? 1,009 times. Most of y'all would have given up a long time ago. I've got billionaires likely in this room if you would just stick with and do whatever it takes for the thing that you want. But remember, in our day and age, we give up after how many tries? 1, 2, 3, 5. That practice ends when? Sir James Dyson, worth $4.5 billion. This guy sucks. I mean, he makes sucking devices. 5,126 failed prototypes as an inventor over 15 years, and then finally figures out how to be a good sucker. And with his vacuums and all that kind of stuff, the man becomes worth $4.5 billion. Now, these are extreme examples, aren't they? Let me tell you, though, about the people I'm not going to put on screen that I've met in my real life that have become very successful. Most of them have failed maybe hundreds of times before they figured it out. The only difference between them and many other people, most other people, is they do not have a failure quotient. They don't have a number. They have a whatever it takes number.